today's tools is going to be a razor blade, masking tape, a mixing cup, a stir stick, your resin, your hardener, and your fiberglass mat.
Remember to always smash that like button, definitely subscribe, and always share this with your buddies so we can bring you these great boat builds. Thanks guys, now let's get into the project.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Brent Bridgman bringing you the JFL Boat Build Series. So today is super windy, so we're going to try out our new lapel mics with this cat hair. Now, I don't really have anywhere else to put it on my Johnny Cash t-shirt today, and when you do fiberglass work, you just kind of got to use whatever shirt you can because it's going to get ruined. So hopefully I can find another Johnny Cash shirt, but I've been working in this shirt for about 2 years, so maybe after this project we'll throw it away. But anyway, as you can see, the wind is ripping through. The lake is a little rough today. But we're going to get right on this seat pan, and we're going to fiberglass those blocks that we put down. We're going to do that today, and then after that, we're going to tackle the battery storage cover locker lid. Remember, we have to make a new one for the cooler because it doesn't have one. So we're going to show you how to do that today. I got to do a little bit of fiberglass repair to the current lid, and then what we're going to do, so the leaves are starting to fall everywhere. So we're going to get the leaves out of the boat, and then we're going to take this lid, repair it, and then we're going to make a opposite of this, which will be the mold for lids for infinity. So if you are missing one of these locker lids, I can make it after today and tomorrow. I'll have the mold to do that. So anyway, later on, not today, but in the next few episodes, we're going to reinforce these lids. These ones are okay. These little ones are okay. And then we got to reinforce the 3 big ones up front. Both long locker lids and that center lid need to be reinforced. The Z20 series, 21s and 20, are all famous for getting squishy lids after a while. They try to make these boats as light as possible, so they try to make them a little bit faster. Unfortunately, if they would have just used a different composite, it would have been fine. And like if you would have just used carbon fiber here, you could have walked on top of this all day long with half the material. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're going to fix it so it won't be an issue anymore, so we can walk on these locker lids without them flexing. Join me, let's get into the build. So I've got a wide angle here so you can see the whole thing, but during this segment I'm going to try to move the camera so you can actually see what I'm doing. But at first, you're going to need your mixing cup with your resin. We haven't put any hardener in this yet. We also cleaned off our regular butter knife. That's the easiest thing to stir this with. Sometimes if you use wood, it'll break and then you got a mess. So this will never break. Plus sometimes, like when we were doing the transom, remember I jammed all of that fiberglass into those cracks with this. So this is a universal tool. It's also got little teeth on it. So if you have to cut something or make something, you know, you could actually use it. So it's a multi-tool. It's super windy. I hope that the cat hair is working because literally, like, it's pushing me, and I'm a big heavy guy. But I don't want to film in the garage or the shop. It's nice outside. I want this to get some sun ray. But anyway, we're just going to start on this, and then I'll just make multiple adjustments to the camera so you guys can see what we're doing today. So basically, we're just going to be covering the wood blocks. These are treated 2x4s that we shaped. These have the studs. These are masked off because I want some of that resin to go down. I left enough room in here for the resin to go down inside here. I see one spot that needs to be addressed. So I want the resin to go down beside the studs. And then we're just going to go slow and easy. We're going to do these 2. So I'll just do this one, then this one. And then we'll probably have to mix some more resin. Then we'll do this one and this one. But we'll get these done today. And then later in the segment, we're going to start working on the extra lid that we need for what I'm calling the cooler that sits between the 2 drivers right behind you. So up on the deck, someone put a plywood with carpet over it, and the carpet's a different kind of carpet. But technically, it's probably worked at that time, but now it's warped from the weather and the rain and the wet dampness. The old locker lid, and we'll go from there. So that's what we'll try to do today. Like I always say, we're going to do a bunch of stuff and then we never get to it. So this is very time consuming. Let's get these done because the gel coat will be here Tuesday for the seat pan, and also I have a new steering wheel coming that I won. So anyway, I'll probably post a picture of the new steering wheel for the boat right now. And I just thought it was really unique, and it goes with the theme of the boat, the black, the red, the white. It'll go with our wrap. So, and plus it's a really cool steering wheel. It'll give me a little bit of leg room underneath with them big high seats till they break in. So, all right, well, let's get into it. All right, so I've got all of my mat. Let me see here. So I pulled it apart, so it's a bunch of little pieces because those ends tend to lay with the resin nice and easy. So let me go get some acid brushes real quick. These are our friends. These acid brushes are amazing. We're gonna leave those right there. And it's getting windier, so I hope, even if I have to take out the wind and my voice, we can always do voiceover here. So anyway, a lot of this will be time-lapsed. The key to this right now is to get these blocks covered so they're fully encased in the resin and fiberglass, and attach it to this. This is all sanded down with 80 grit around here. So I'm gonna let that fiberglass go over the block and down on this. And it's okay if we stay within this parameter. In fact, I got tape here to make sure that we don't go outside that area. So right here, we're gonna lay the tape here. Bunch of sanding dust here. It just gives you a boundary. It doesn't mean you're going up to that. It just means you don't want to go past that. All right. So it gives us a line to go by. So we want to keep our fiberglass again in this area because this part's already smooth. Well, this needs to be still worked, but this part's already smooth, and I don't want to be getting fiberglass all out here, you know. All right, so we're gonna run that like that. It just gives us a boundary, basically. Run that like that. And we're gonna do this across the back. I'm gonna inch off that. All right, so our boundaries are up. Like you girls out there. Anyway, that'll probably get cut. All right, so let's add some hardener to this. I'm mixing this a little light because I want some work time. I didn't put too much, but there's enough in there to activate it. Just want to make sure you get it stirred up really good. All right. All right, get our acid brush. We could lay that on a lower level. All right, so we're just going to cover this. And what I'm focusing right now is I'm getting that resin around these bolts. So any that falls over the side, I'm going to just brush up on top of the board here. I want to cover the board completely with resin. Now technically I could just cover this with resin and it'd be nice and smooth like this. And then I could just gel coat over it. But I want to add some strength, and also by bringing in the fiberglass on top of it, it'll tie it into the seat pan so they won't rip off. If I just cover these, you know, the bolts could pull through the bottom, but by making it all one unit underneath, then it ties it all in. So anyway, just make sure it's all wet and covered. All right, so it looks like, let's check this side. All right, that is now tied in very well. Let's smooth that out a little bit. All right. So now I feel confident. That's the driver's seat. That's the one you want down. Maybe I'll just leave that one alone. Hey, I completely fiberglassed my seat pan, but I didn't have time to get to yours. I didn't have time to get to yours, son. So there's a handle over there, and there's a handle over here. So just hold on. You can be all right. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? That would be wild and crazy, wouldn't it? Let's plug this hole that's been bugging me. There we go. What I'm doing here is I'm just taking the rest of that resin and just making this area had some grinder marks in it. So if I just brush over this real quick, it'll lay flat. And I got the extra anyway before it turns to gel. So just pushing that in there. Let's get this center, because this is, I don't want to have to be sanding in between these blocks. Get that. I'll keep pulling it. Let me get some fiber down here. Let's get a square piece. Hang on one second. Hang on one second. That's kind of what I'm looking for. A blocker. That's called a blocker. That'll block that resin from going there. So what we have here is all of this is encased. Let me pull you guys off this. I'm going to reposition this anyway. All right. So what we have here is we're fully encased now. So you can see the fiber. It's totally covered. It's flattening out that centerpiece. Got it nice and flat in there. Let me pull you guys off this stand. All right, so we won't have to do much sanding. See how everything is covered? So it's fully encased. And then around those studs, the resin has gone down in. See there? So now those studs are completely surrounded by resin. All right. See the shape there when we do the gel coat on this. And then we'll just have to sand this nice, and we'll make that edge nice. But anyway, it'll just make it easier to sand now. See how the fronts are tied in now because I pulled the glass down the front here. Then I'll just grind that bottom off there and it'll be fine. And this should be easy to sand flat in this valley. All right. That's all it takes, is that little bit of fiberglass to now make those perfect. And these are going to get covered with gel coat. So that's also resin. Gel coat's also a resin. So remember, they're bolted through the pan, which is a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, through the fiberglass, through these 2x4 treated 2x4s that are totally encapsulated. And remember, we glued these down, see, with fiberglass. See there? They were glued down, sandwiched down, bolted down, remember? And then this is what it looked like. See, it's all. So these were already sandwiched down with resin. All right, so let me mix another batch of resin for this and we'll get started. We already got the all this is chopped up for those 2 blocks, so we'll get on it. Be right back. Apparently I forgot that I didn't turn my lapel mic back on, so I'm just grabbing this seat pan and gonna go set it over in the sun because it needs some heat on it. The resin was not curing fast enough for my liking, so I just took it over and set it in the sun. And then after this, I go to do the artwork, which you see in the corner, the new JFL logo. Did that so we can have a space there. And if you guys noticed, I just built a brand new Cash App for the JFL Boat Build Series, and I'm going to post the different tier levels. I want everyone to participate if you can. Every single dollar that's given to that Cash App goes directly for the boat into materials, parts, and anything else we might need for the boat build. Next, we're going to need carpet. That's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Pay attention to the YouTube channel for the first episode of the new JFL podcast series.
You can join Brent at TikTok at Just Fish Lures.
Thank you.